Welcome back. We continue our broadcast from NROC as far as what we've coined the term, gentlemen. I'm still sitting here with our analyst Dr. Subat, Dr. Figane and Prof. Tinyiko Maluleke from UNISA. Gentlemen, it's been a hive of activity on the ground behind us. We're seeing the political parties slowly streaming in. It's going to get a lot interesting as the day wears on. I just saw Agang leader also coming in. I think maybe that I can start with her. It looks very... It looks very touch and go as far as the Agang leader is concerned, as far as getting a seat within the National Assembly.
Yeah, it doesn't look good at all. The numbers at the moment don't look good for Agang. I think Agang will be lucky to get a seat. They will be luckier if they get two, as things go. But it's early. But just to say that, I mean, if you look at her, the leader of Agang, she is, I mean, she's got a business suit, you know, and you contrast that with the other leaders who are wearing T-shirts or caps or the proverbial EFF, gear, as it were, the jumpsuits. And I think it tells a story of the whole manner in which she approached these elections. I don't think she made the transition from the corporate world to the political world, and you see it even yesterday when she came. I mean, you might have thought she was going to a board meeting, but you look at Dalimpofu and others and the way they were dressed. So I think we must be patient, but I really think they will be very likely to get 2 or 3 seats.
Dr. Figane, an interesting point that Tinyiko raises, the fact that, you know, there was always this debate whether the so-called divorce with the planned marriage to the DA would hurt her. It seems like it did come back to bite her, and what could have been her potential votes, especially from the Limpopo area, are now going to the now official opposition, if I can call them that, of that region would be the EFF.
Older parties with a longer history, and they do have brand resilience even when their leaders do make blunders. You have seen how DA has recovered. But a new party which is still seeking its appeal to the hearts and minds of people, the moment the leader makes such a massive mistake, all credibility goes, especially when the rank and file were saying we only heard about this in the news. They could no longer now trust that the party was there for a long haul. And only a few days ago, the reports in the media that she was talking about alliance already was suggesting that there is not much faith in the success of the party, never mind the administrative problems. But she has, as my colleague was saying, either a boardroom corporate approach or an academic approach to what is essentially a political challenge, which needs one to get down and dirty and be somewhere there with the networks on the ground.
Here's a question then. Let's move away from Agang. Let's look at other parties. I'm looking at the IFP as well. We actually touched on this, Dr. Figane, yesterday, that this could be the last kicks of unfortunately, of a dying horse, a party with a huge history. Let me come to you, Prof. Tinyiko. A huge history. It seems that it's fizzling out, and these elections will kind of put it out to dry. Although provincially in KwaZulu-Natal, they are still, I think, second, in fact third after the DA as the results coming in right now.
Yeah, look, I think the IFP is a bleeding party. It has been bleeding members for some time. 2009 was not good for them. They lost a lot of members to the ANC. And I think the birth of the NFP has not assisted them at all. The fact that the party has not had sufficient renewal in its leadership, there is no revitalization, there's no new I think this is a party that has actually struggled to catch a new vision for the new South
That's
Africa.
what I was thinking. We think of the so-called Zondi coming in, his introduction as the new leader. Then there was those infighting, and then it didn't happen. Then it nearly happened, and the young vote. The young youth brigade, they really wanted that sort of change, a vision going forward, were left high and dry, so to speak, because they said, well, what's the point?
Yeah, no, it may not be the last kicks, but it is a dying horse. But sometimes death takes a long time because there are other parties which have had 1 or 2 members of parliament for the past 15 years.
The Freedom Front has only had 4, seats on the National Assembly, so they're still around.
Yeah.
Let's speak about them. What do you think? It's interesting. I was speaking to the Freedom Front earlier, and again, they sort of like diversify our politics in terms of some things. You've seen government as well. The ANC go into bed with them in certain aspects of ministries. Where do we put them in these elections? They're not doing too badly as far as the results are coming in, but they're not as good as I think they would be. They're 1.4? No, not in 1.47. They don't feature in the top 6 actually of the results right now.
Remember that FF Plus has a fixed constituency of Afrikaners, and as such, they do not hide the fact that they are fighting for the minority groups. With the specific focus on the Afrikaners. So they'll pick up their votes in the areas which are still conservative, concentrated with Afrikaners, and therefore you can expect them to hold steady on their levels of support at a very low base, but without much shifting.
I don't think they want too much support from other quarters. They wouldn't know what to do with it. If suddenly...
In fact, if they extended themselves to the other population groups, it would simply dilute the very constituency they are fighting for. So I think they are rather content with the small constituency they have and simply hope and pray that the old NNP people who went to the DA may be disillusioned when new black leaders come in.
Would it be the same voter though? Or maybe there'll be certain aspects of what they'll help them appeal to those voters, so to speak.
I doubt that they would have any extended appeal to the voters. They have tried to pick up the issue of the Khoisan, not because they suddenly fell in love with the Khoisan, but because they wanted to rebut the issue of land reform and try to say that everybody here is an immigrant. So it's more of an opportunistic instrumental use of the plight of other groups rather than a genuine one.
Dr. Somatota Figeni as well as Prof. Tinyiko Maluleke from University of Johannesburg will stay with us. We'll chat a bit later. We're now going to go down to the floor where Leanne is